Okay, I struck lightning in a bottle for the second time on my YouTube channel. My top video has over 40,000 views. My video from a few weeks ago has over 20,000 views now. Let's see if I can make another one. I've tried to make another video that would be that popular. And then I realized the thing that I want to be popular isn't. I have a video that has over 700 views, and then they drop down to 200, 100, things like that. So the video that I want to be popular isn't. And then I made more, and they were even less popular. They got less response. And I was really surprised by that. So I'm going to show you something right now. A lot of people have said, not a lot, some comments have said, oh, you have to take actions. I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm saying Neville Goddard said, not only you don't have to, he said don't. So for everyone who says you have to take actions, I understand. Faith without works is dead. If you don't take actions, what do you think is going to happen? Well, according to Neville Goddard, God is your imagination. So if you believe the thing that you are imagining, if you believe that's yours, the thing that you desire, you imagine it, it's yours. When Neville went to Barbados, he took no action. And he even doubted. He questioned, is this really going to work? And Abdullah, his friend, wouldn't talk to him. He says, you're already there. I can't talk to you. Go away. And he closed the door in his face. He talks about this later on, how Abdullah wouldn't talk to him. Because how can he talk to him? He's not here. You're in Barbados. That's what he said to him. You're in Barbados. Go away from me. He was rude. He didn't take any action to make it happen because Abdullah told him, no, trust that God is your imagination and God will provide the way and you will go to Barbados. And he did. No action taken. Now, either Neville made this up and he was a con man and he will go down as one of the greatest con men in history, or he told the truth and this is real and millions of people all over the world say it's real. And some of those people still say to this day, you have to take action. There's a guy on YouTube named Earl Nightingale. Listen to him. It's old, from like the 1950s. He's talked about imagination, but he also said action. I'm like, Neville says no. Don't take action. He said that's the wrong thing to do because if you're taking action, you're thinking you're going to bring it about. Which means you're not trusting in the power of your imagination, which is God in you, to bring it about. It doesn't happen magically. It happens naturally. It happens in a way that just seems natural, like it would have happened anyway. And he says that's the point. You don't try to you could never conceive of how to do it. You could never conceive of the method how to bring about this thing that you want to have happen. So you have to trust, believe, and just let it go and forget about it. Now that's hard. That's what I've been trying to do now. I'm trying to just let it go. Okay, but as far as taking action, I first listened to Neville in 2019, okay? Now I don't remember all the time sequences, but I do know in 2021, I wrote a fantasy novel. Why did I do it? I wasn't trying to bring anything about. I wanted to write this. All of a sudden, I desired to write it. I had tried to write a story before. I still want to write that story. I got like 30 pages into it. This is before 2019. I hit a brick wall, had mental blocks, had insecurities about myself, and quit. Never went back to it. It's a really cool story. It's very D&D-ish. So I was working on my campaign. My family I'm separated from them. But when we were separated, when I was still technically married but separated, I was working on my campaign. We were separated for 8 years before she divorced me. And I was working on my D&D campaign to one day play with my kids once they became old enough. My wife and kids, I would take them through this and maybe a friend or two would join us. And so I was working while we were separated, fully believing that we were going to get back together. Certain we were going to get back together. and we didn't, and she divorced me in 2013, okay? So I had all this work. Now, again, I didn't write this until 2021, so there's a long gap in there, and I don't know all that went on I don't remember everything between 2013 and 2021. In 2019, I heard Neville and started imagining what I want. And I knew exactly what I wanted. And I would later add things, specific things in my mind I really want. What would I do if I could do anything I wanted? If I was totally free, which, by the way, that's what we all want. We all want to be free. That's what everyone in the world wants. Every single person wants freedom. That's why people pursue wealth, because if they have wealth, they can do anything they want. At least that's the plan. The problem is people they start worshiping their wealth. Their wealth becomes an idol. Their wealth becomes all that they want, and they're never satisfied. And I was like, no, why would you not be satisfied if you had enough? Why aren't you? And Wim Hof talks about this. Listen to Wim Hof. He's not trying, how can I make more money? Billionaires are trying to make more money. Why? Unless you're doing something with it that's good, which is what I would do if I was making more money. I would do good with it, but they're only doing it for themselves, like they need more. How insecure can you possibly be? If you have $1 billion, if you have $100 million, $50 million, $10 million, you don't need to work another day of your life. You are free. You don't need to, you're not totally free, and you're not totally happy. Money doesn't buy all of your happiness, but it buys a lot. People who say money doesn't buy happiness, the one thing I agree with Trump, they don't know where to shop. That's a good line, actually. It's the one smart thing that he's said in his life. No, but it's not that money buys all your happiness, but it does. It improves your life in many ways. It can ruin your life. There are rich people who are miserable. There are poor people who are happy. No doubt about that. But on average, rich people are happier than poor people, unless they're corrupt, unless they're filled with, all kinds of problems. So I said to myself, what would I do if I had X number of dollars? And I've written out the amount, because you're supposed to do that. Write out what you want, make it clear. And I thought through everything that I will do when I get that money. Okay? In 2021, this is 2 years into writing, into waiting on my imagination to create my reality. I don't remember why I started writing my novel, other than the reasons I wrote it. I had done all this work on my campaign, and it was not going to go anywhere now because she divorced me, and it's never going to happen. So I turned my story, I turned all of my work into a story. I had an idea. Let me see if I can turn this into a story. How would it go? I'm just going to write out how this D&D campaign would go, and I'm going to write it as though these characters are now that I create. I'm going to create 8 characters and go adventuring with them. So it turned into a story. I was really amazed that I'd written it. And I was just thinking about this today. I'm like, wait a second. I did that after Neville. Why did that happen? Why did all of a sudden, I wrote a big, long story. This is 539 pages, okay? I've got the book right here, and I've shown it in other videos, but I'm going to show it again because I want you to see I did take actions. Not that this was the means by which I was going to I wasn't doing this to bring about my imagination. I wasn't doing it for any other reason than I decided this is something that I want to do, and I did it in my spare time, which I have plenty of, okay? Because I'm alone. I don't have the stressors of family anymore. Now I'm living alone, so I have lots of free time. Okay. I'm going to just show you the book. It's big. It's an 8x11 book because when I wrote it on my computer, it was in an 8x11 format, and I didn't want to change it. I could have, but I just chose to leave it alone. I like it. It's like a big D&D manual. All right, it's big. There's a reason it's the colors that it is. I'm going to show it to you here. There's a reason it's yellow, and this is green. This was supposed to be brown. It's more red. My name being blue at the bottom is just because, it's fine. I had to pick a color for the name. And this is a thing that I got on Amazon. I had to find some kind of cover that would look decent. I had no clue how to do any of this stuff. I see people making covers, and I don't know how they make their covers. I don't know how to do any of that. I like this cover. It's fine. It looked cool. And originally the title of this book was called The Adventurers, and I changed it to this, and I really like this title. Now it's become like it was destined to be called this. In light of everything that's happened in this story. I've written 2 books, and I've written 2 short stories. I'm going to show you those too. Here's the back. I'm just going to let you read it. I'm going to put it up so you can read it. You can just pause the video and you can read that, okay? And that is basically what the story is about. This is Dungeons and Dragons. Someone asked me to narrate it. Could you narrate it on your channel? Because I'd love to listen to it. I don't like reading. And I went, oh, I had a YouTube channel. I was doing things on my YouTube channel just for fun. I had like maybe 50 subscribers. And I thought, okay, why not? And I found, wow, this is fun. I can sit here and narrate this book 1 chapter at a time. And I added music, and I would post it as I'd go. And I ended up redoing the entire thing because I wasn't pleased with the first time it was, and it was called The Adventurers the first time. So I redid it, made a lot of changes to this book. This book has gone through like 6 iterations on Amazon. The first time I made this, I forgot to include page numbers. I figured Amazon would just put page numbers on it. Like, why didn't you put page numbers in the book? Why? And they produced a book with no page numbers. I'm like, what the hell? So I had to, get rid of that. And I've read this thing probably 12 times, edited it at least 6 times to get it to read better. It still isn't perfectly edited. It's still not professionally edited. I'm not an editor, but I've gotten pretty good at it, so I'm better at it. Anyway, this is the action that I took. And at first, I started to get some good responses. I got a decent amount of comments on my first video, which is an introductory video, which is not part of this book. It's another idea that came into my mind, make an introductory video. My friend was reading this book, and he started listening on YouTube, and he was really enjoying it. And when I showed him my narration, when he first listened, he says, your introductory video helped a lot. He said that really, and I'm like, oh God, should I put that in the book? I'm wondering if I should put it in the book, or maybe like some parts or something, I don't know. But he really appreciated that. Unfortunately for me, things happened in his life and he stopped reading it. He's like halfway through it. And he goes, oh, I'm going to get back to it. I've had about 4 people stop. This is very, very weird now. And they said, oh, I'm going to get back to it, whether they were reading it or listening to my narration on YouTube. And none of them have gotten back to it. I am so confused by that because all of them said, this is really good. I really like this story. I'm really enjoying this. Oh, I'm just not able to read it right now or listen to it right now, but I'm going to get back to it. And they never have. And I have no clue why that is. I'm baffled by that. I'm saddened by it. It's frustrating, but what am I going to do? So after I wrote and published this book, got it on Amazon, felt so excited. I thought, is something going to come of this? Is this going to work? Because most books on Amazon don't do anything. They sit there. So does this. This sits on Amazon. Like every year I'll sell maybe 3 copies. Maybe 4 if I'm lucky. Maybe only 2. That's how often somebody buys my book on Amazon. Just so you know. So I was frustrated. And I started to write book 2. Because this is going to be a 5-book series. I had it all mapped out in my head. This is a 5-book series. This is book 1 right there. Book 1. And it's book 1 of 5. Okay? So I started to write book 2. Got frustrated. My book wasn't doing anything. And I was struggling to write, seeing my book isn't doing anything. And I stopped. And a year went by, and I hadn't written a thing. And I didn't think I was ever going to write again. And all of a sudden, I'm listening to this guy on YouTube, my favorite new artist, Ren. I don't know if you're familiar with Ren. His big hit video that blew up his channel. He was already doing well on YouTube, but he was not big. He has a video called Hi Ren. It's got over 50 million views now. His channel, he's huge. He's an independent artist. He has no corporation backing him. Put out his own album. Did it himself. #1 in the UK. That's not possible. Yet his fans were so dedicated, they said, we're going to go out and buy your album. We're going to get you to #1. And they did it. That's how crazy his fans love him. Now, I didn't buy his album. I love this guy. This guy's great. I want to meet this guy. I'd love to talk to him. He's in his 30s. His music is so good. Oh my God. So I'm done writing. I've written like 1, maybe 2 chapters of book 2. It's been over a year. Been about a year and a month, a year and 2 months. And I'm watching his stuff because I've really gotten into Ren and I've been loving his videos. And all of a sudden, someone's interviewing him. Rosalie Elliott is her name. She's interviewing him. Someone else did too. Knox Hill. I listened to his interview. Since then, the Charismatic Voice has interviewed him. She's got over 1 million subscribers. I think Knox Hill has over 1 million subscribers. And Rosalie's got like over 200,000 subscribers. At the time, she was, I think, she might have been under 100,000. And in the interview, Ren started talking about how it was really important for him to not be outcome-oriented. And when I heard him say that, something in my brain went, wait, what did you just say? And they talked about it a little bit in the interview. You can watch the interview. He said it in the Knox Hill interview too. It's important to not be outcome dependent, outcome oriented, whatever his words were. To not be concerned with the outcome, to do what you do because you want to do it regardless of what happens. And immediately there was a shift in my brain. Immediately. And I knew I was going to write book 2. It took me about 6 months. I wrote this book in 4 freaking months. 539 pages. Okay? 4 months. 6 months, I wrote book 2. It looks exactly the same on purpose. Book 3, if I ever write it, will look the same too. Okay? The Caves of Ordered Randomness. Here's the back so you can see what book 2 is all about. This took me 6 months to write this. All of a sudden, everything changed and I'm writing. I was so blown away at the story that I came up with. I kind of went down paths I didn't know if I really should go down. Like I wasn't expecting to go to do half, maybe a third of what this book is. Was not in my head at the time. I knew the story for book 2, but the path that I chose, I ended up going down it just kind of for fun. And I thought, don't think this is really going to work. And I decided to just leave it. And it got not even half the response that my first book got. Like almost nothing. And I was devastated again. Once again, the outcome affected my brain. I'm like, why is nobody interested in this? Why is there less? I thought there'd be at least the same amount of interest, but there wasn't. And I don't know why. For whatever reason, I don't know, was it maybe another year later or when I wrote these 2 short stories. I have not written book 3. I've written a couple chapters of book 3. All right. All of a sudden I had an idea to write a short story called Sheila and the Dungeon Master. You don't have to, there's no reason for me to tell you the name of the book. But here it is. I've written this short little story. Same thing. I had cover art for this. I couldn't get it to transfer to Amazon. I was so upset because it was the coolest looking cover art. All right. Now this is more adult oriented. This is not something a 9-year-old read my first book. I wouldn't let a 12-year-old read this book. 15 plus is what I rate this book for. That's just me. That's my rating. Somebody might say, no, that's 16 or 17. Okay. I don't think many people would say lower than 14. This is adult oriented. It's a whopping 71 pages. It's not, this is a short story, okay? I was so pleased with it, and it got no response at all. I narrated it on my channel. I've narrated book 2. Book 2 is on my channel. You can listen to this. In every chapter in my narration, there are links to Amazon, and there are links to this chapter on my blog, so you don't even have to buy my book. You can read this book without buying my book. Now, maybe I'm stupid to do that, but I like that I'm offering people the ability to read my book for free. The way I look at this, if you really, really like this book, you're going to want to own it. And you're going to buy it. If you love this book, you're going to want to own it. And some people did. They bought it. A few, not many. I think I've sold maybe 30 copies of my first book. I don't even know if I've sold 10 of my second book. I don't even think I have. Not even 10. And I love the second book. I love them both. Obviously, I love them both. But, so this is out, and it's did nothing. I narrated it. It did nothing. And for whatever reason, I wrote a second one. Now, this ends the sequel. There will be no part 3. This is Sheila and the Dungeon Master 2. This is what's going on. And this is, I rate this 16 plus. Somebody might say 17. It's not 18 plus. Anybody who thinks it's 18 plus is wrong. It's not graphic. Okay? These books, here's the difference between my books. These books, there's no sex, no swearing. The topic is talked about. The topic comes up. And you could argue that's PG-13 stuff in those books. This book has sex. This book has sex and swearing. So that's why I say this is 15 plus. Maybe this is 16 plus. And I've narrated on my channel. You can listen to them. You can also read them while you're listening to them on my blog. The link is in the description. You can click on it. Now, I'm going to show you one last thing of this because I want to. And I just shared this with a friend of mine on YouTube, a man that I really like and really admire, and I hope he listens to it. He might not. He said he wasn't interested in. He took one look at this. He goes, "No, I don't want to read any of that stuff because it's not for him." And I said, "Yeah, understood." I said, "But I encourage you to read part 5. I'm just going to show you this. I'm going to show you what I did. Let me make sure that's in. Okay. I incorporated music into part 5. Normally I use intro and outro music. Okay. You can see what's there. Those are lyrics to a song. It is in the story. If you listen to my narration, that part of the song is played. Just those lyrics. It's incorporated into the story. Then I did more. It's not just that. Here's another section. So I wrote that into the story. So the lyrics are part of the story. It's just an idea I had. I went with it, and I'm really, really impressed with it. Then there's another one there. And then I'm going to show you every single one. Very next page, there's another one. And this is all music from different groups. Well, mostly it was Led Zeppelin, John Anderson and the Band Geeks, and John and Vangelis. If you're familiar with John and Vangelis, if you aren't, I highly recommend that you check them out on YouTube. Okay, there's another one there. Another piece of music. It's all part of the story. There's another one. I got quite a few of them. And I had to separate them because they are the lyrics to music. And so I had to give credit in the book what the lyrics are. And literally it ends with lyrics to a song. And that's how the thing ends. I love what I did. I absolutely loved what I came up with. And again, I was so devastated. I'm like, why is no one interested in this? What am I doing wrong that no one's interested in this? The difference with this book, I've got to explain this, why I ended up doing this with the music. In book 1, on my narration, there's intro and outro music to every chapter. It's just music that I liked. Sometimes it fit the theme of the story. Sometimes it fit the theme of the chapter, and I really liked when it fit the theme of the chapter. And so when I wrote this book, the music in the narration, now the music has become part of the story. It always fits the theme of the chapter. There's 1 or 2 chapters in this book where I did not use intro and outro music because I couldn't find anything relevant to the story, to that chapter. But in these books, in this narration, all the music matters. It's all part of the story. Not perfectly. It kind of fits the theme, is the word I was looking for. All right? So I hope you will listen to it. You kind of got to listen to book 1, though, if you're going to listen to book 2. These you could listen to without having read this stuff, even though these books technically take place after book 5, which I've not written. But it's not necessary. You don't have to have read these to listen to these. So if you don't mind 15, 16 plus rated material, adult themed stuff, then I hope you'll listen to it. You might not like it. It might not be for you. But again, it's not graphic sex. All right, it's not 18 plus. I assure you, it's not 18 plus. That's ridiculous. And nobody said it was, but there were a couple of people that said, yeah, it's a little too much. They didn't want to read stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, it's fine. I don't know why. I mean, I've read plenty of books that has sex in them. It's not like it's not like it doesn't happen in a lot of books. There's no sex in my Forestera's Fate novels. There's no sex in here. The topic is talked about. It's talked about. It's mentioned. It's brought up. Like I say, it gets PG-13 at times. Yet a 9-year-old read this book, book 1. He was 10 when he read this book. He loved these books. And he told me, because I said to him, so which one do you like better? And he said, oh, book 2. And he loved book 1. I said, you like book 2 better? He says, oh my God. He said, it's so funny. He goes, it's so funny. He goes, I'm laughing. He goes, I love the story. He was nuts over it. I just like, man, why can't I get adults to feel this way? A 12-year-old read my first book twice in 4 days. He's a voracious reader. Twice in 4 days. 12. Okay? He was 14 when he read this, I think. 13, 14. It's a year and 6 months later, so he was probably 14. He read it in 1 day. That's crazy. You know, this guy's a voracious reader. I've never met him. I know his father from YouTube. That's it. That's my relationship. Never met the father in real life. Hope to one day. Okay. So I'm confused, you know, when people say, oh, you got to take action. I took some action. This is a lot of action. And I didn't do this with, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll write books and then it'll all happen. That would be great. But I'm like, why did I write all this? Well, you wrote it for yourself, right? You wrote it because you wanted to. Yeah. No one can take that away from me. I have these stories published no matter what happens. This is mine. And anybody can read it. And you don't even have to buy it to read it because it's on my blog. So that's free. You can listen to it for free. And that's done. And if I ever write books 3, 4, and 5, great. If I never do, oh well. I'm pleased with what I've done. And, and there's illustrations in the first book. There are no illustrations in book 2, just so you know. Yet that action did not coincide with what I was wondering if it would. I wondered, I wonder if this is going to lead to something, and it never did. So then that also made me go, well, I wonder what I'm supposed to do. And people say, don't do anything. And other people say, if you do nothing, nothing's going to happen. People said, oh, you need to do robotic affirmations. That's what will work. Another person said, you need to listen to this guy. I've had at least 10 different guys or girls recommended to me by name. Go listen to this person. They changed my life. One person said, read this book by someone. It changed their life. I have the book. I already had the book. I might read it. It's called Letting Go. I think his last name is Hawkins. I have the book. I bought it, never read it. Don't even know why I bought it. I'm not even sure. My point is, Neville gave you the impression that this will work regardless of your issues. All you had to do was imagine and believe. He said, those are the requirements. Imagine and believe. And when you least expect it, it'll happen. So I took him at his word, and it never happened. And people say I'm doing it wrong. And I'm like, I've imagined and I believed it was going to happen. I believe this is going to happen. Because I got confirmation when I asked for evidence and proof. And I was convinced. And it still didn't happen. And according to Neville's teachings, it's not you who makes it happen. It's your belief, your imagination, which is God in you, takes you down a bridge of incidents. You have nothing to do with it. Just sit back and it will happen. And it didn't happen. Now, I still hope it does. I'm still expecting it to happen because it should happen, but it's been 6 years. And I wish Neville was around so I could say, hey, Neville, why isn't this working? And he'd tell me why. And I'd be like, but then, so it is about me. If my imagination is God, his ladder experiment went, you're going to climb a ladder even if you say you're not going to, because your imagination, you imagined it, it'll happen. You can't prevent it from happening. Your imagination is God. It will happen. Then everything I've imagined should happen because I believe it. Oh yeah, but see, you want it. You're wanting it and you're clinging to it and you're desiring it. And as long as you're clinging, you're attached to your outcome. And that's why it's not working. Now that made sense to me. I'm attached to the outcome. I was attached to the outcome of this. I wanted this to sell millions of copies. Still want that to happen. Of course I want that to happen. How can I possibly say, oh, I don't care if it doesn't sell? Yes, I do. Of course you want it to. So I can't lie to myself. I don't care if people buy my book or not. What? Yes, you do. But you can't be frustrated if they don't. That I understand. And that's hard. Because I don't want this to just sit around and do nothing. But I shouldn't worry about it. Because I didn't write it to make money. I wrote it because I wanted to. It was inside of me and it had to come out. And I have books 3, 4, and 5 all in my head. It's all here. But there are so many blocks that are keeping me from it. The blocks kept me from it, and it was Ren's words that got me out of my funk. One interview, and I wrote that book in 6 months. It's crazy. I got to run 33 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to post this. We'll see. Got to listen to it and see if it's worth posting. All right. Really enjoy these comments. I'm hoping this video blows up and people start listening to my book because those are the comments I want. I got one. One of you started listening and she loved it. You said, you're such a creative artist. I'm like, then why isn't it happening? If it's that good, why isn't it happening? I don't get it. But I'm glad I'm glad she listened to it. She said she's going to keep listening. I hope she does. I love talking about this stuff. When I had people in the comments, it was just so much fun, and then it all just stopped. Her comment, it's the first one I've had on that introductory video in a year. It's sad. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.